Jacob Zuma warned us about EDA and told black people the reasons why they should never, or black people, why we should never vote for EDA. Hey, why am I excluding myself as if I'm white? Okay. So he warned us about that and said, listen, guys, no matter what, under no circumstances, you should vote for EDA. Now, don't worry, I'm about to give you the evidence. I'm about to show you that. And no wonder they hate Zuma the way they do. No wonder they do not want Zuma at all. No wonder they don't like Zuma. We've seen that. In fact, one of them is Rob Hasoff, when he said, he thought that before, he thought that EFF was the number one enemy in this country. But he relegated them to position 2. And guess who's the number one? He says MK Party is the number one problem, and according to white people. And that's where you see that lines are drawn. And they're not even blurry. You can't even say, I can't see this line. No, the lines are not even blurry. White people said. But yeah, when I say white people, I must also clarify, right? There are white people who are good at hearts. They are for progressive. It is unfortunate that sometimes when we say white people, we don't explain. Maybe simply because also we don't have the time to explain. I don't know, but I think I'll make it a point that I explain. I will tell you the reason why we need to explain. We've met good white people, right? But again, we are talking about the rotten potatoes here. We're not talking about the good ones. We have seen some of those that do not have good intentions. One of them is none other than Helen Zille, who believes that colonialism was a good thing for black people. She never suffered the consequences of it as a black person. She's a beneficiary. Today, she comes and she tells you that colonialism was a good thing for a black person, for the development of this country, right? Such people, we don't want them. Such people, we can't. And it's surprising then that today people have easily forgotten. We'll talk about that. People have easily forgotten that no, man, here you are dealing with the same snake. It has just changed the color. Zuma was warning us. And he was warning most of the time, or he spent much of his time warning these educated black people to say, hey, wake up. But again, before I warn you, you know what? I want us to have a coalition between me and you. And the only way this coalition can work, it is when you do this. If you are not yet subscribed, what are you waiting for? Come on, good people. Because to subscribe, it is free. To like the video, it is free. To comment in the comment section below, it is free of charge. To click the notification bell, it is free of charge. To share this video, it is free of charge. To watch this video until the end, it is free of charge. Also, good people, come on, to watch the ads, it's free of charge, and that's how you financially contribute to this YouTube channel. Speaking about financially contribution to the channel, you can become a member of this YouTube channel from as little as 20 Rand a month. You can also use the super thanks button. In case you don't want to do that, guys, there is a way where you can use my media company banking details to donate to the channel, and you know what I'm saying, we'll bring you more, and also guys want to buy more equipment. So the power is in your hands. Please do the honorable thing as we proceed. Oh yes, Jacob Zuma said, black people, just look, he said it very, look, in short, he said it very nicely, but listen to what he said. He said, black people, just because you are educated, just because you speak good English, just because you are now in a white school, private school, that should not make you forget that the DA is still the same DA. What it has changed, it's the color and the people that are in there, but the vision and the mission is still the same. Why was Jacob Zuma mentioning that important? Look, it's because today a lot of people will say there's no difference, right? And I'm gonna explain this. That when people says there's no difference between DA and the ANC, I beg to differ. Like I beg to differ. Though we are against ANC, but there's not before Ramaphosa. There was a very big difference between the two political parties. But again, you wanna know what Jacob Zuma said? Take a look at this.
Umntana into senayikhola kunombutho lokuthiwa i-DA ingane ye-National Party sandikhohliwe ngoba ngiyangibona abantu abamnyama sebeyijoyina yile party yayisicindezele ngidabuke ngibona iy'ngane sesikhuluma isingisi esikhulu lapha DA will do XYZ.
Okay, so there's a problem in this country that it is beginning to happen and a lot of people are not aware of it. And for me to make it make sense to you, I need to mention this, something that I've mentioned quite a number of times. When Zuma said, DA has not changed. He's they are a child of the political party that brought that was oppressing black people in this country, the National Party. People don't understand, or people will easily disagree. But the reason people disagree is because of this. If you have not traveled enough and meet the right people, and if you are in the corporate space, if you have not climbed to the highest, sometimes you will not see it. Let's start with this one. I always make this example because anyone and everyone can easily experience this at any given time. You just have to put me into test what I say. You are earning 30,000 rand as a net salary. You are looking for an apartment in Cape Town. There are places as of now, today, as of me recording this video today, there are places you will never be allowed to get an apartment in. I have a friend who was busy working between Joburg and Cape Town. He's earning good. When he comes to Joburg, he competes with the white counterpart partner, right? They're not married, but yeah, they're working in the same environment, in the same company, earning almost the same salary. When it comes to Joburg, they have the same benefit. They can easily get an apartment. But when the company moves them to Cape Town, guess what? This white lady had all the access to the apartment. He ended up having to ask this white lady to secure an apartment on her behalf for him. Not that it doesn't qualify. He meets all the criteria, but because this is Cape Town. Now, who rules in Cape Town? The DA. I know somebody who went to Cape Town. They are working here in Joburg. So this time they decided that they're going to go to Cape Town. And not they decided. The company said there was an emergency, so they did not fly, but they took the company vehicles and drove on the floor. On the ground. So it was a 24-hour distance, if I may say. Yes. 24-hour drive. The white guy started looking for an apartment. Before they could even leave Joburg, he couldn't find an apartment. As soon as he explained that he is looking for an apartment for black people, he struggled to find an apartment in Cape Town. He even told them, whilst they were close to Cape Town, mind you, a 24-hour drive, he couldn't find it. Not that the places were not available. The places were there, but not for black people. But who governs Cape Town? Yeah? Who governs Cape Town? The DA. So, in Cape Town, they've exhibited the signs of racism towards black people. Yet, you, being clever black, you think in Joburg, the DA has changed. What makes you think that if they cannot end racism in a place it has been controlled by them over years now, they couldn't end. They have not ended racism now. When you climb some of the companies, right? A research was done not long ago. You will be a black person qualified the same way as a white person. A white counterpart earns more than same position, same qualifications, same job description, but a white person earns more than a black person. Now in this country, now there is what now that racism has changed its form. Now there is what we call it financial segregation. They are not allowed to do it, but in Cape Town, they even have what we call it geographical segregation. The reason you have places such as Soweto, Katlehong, those were the places for black people. That was the geographical segregation that was placed by the party then during apartheid. Now you are under democracy, you see DA doing that in Cape Town, securing places that are only for white and they are, as a black person. They are trying by all means that a black person doesn't live there, but most, you will always find those ways, but they are trying by all means. Number two, there are places in Cape Town that no matter how much money you have, you will never buy it because you are black. Not because even if the property is valued at 50 million and you've got 100 million, you will never get it because you are black. It ends there. But who governs Cape Town? It's the DA. When Zuma said, do not vote for the DA, and you take him for granted, you think you know better. You think you are smart. You think now you are a clever black. Fine. I'm sure Shangane speaking people will be like, why are you saying? I don't know. Maybe I'm saying it wrongly though. But it's always nice when they speak and they say, Nitakuba, ungantolobele. I used to live with them. I said, it's so interesting. When I listened to the language, I always felt interesting. I was like, I'm learning one or two things there. But I'm sure now they're like, hi, Bongan. Hi, guys. Come on, guys. Take it easy, man. So, okay, yeah. I'm saying, guys, because you clever blacks, you are these people have never loved you, and they constantly demonstrate that. You can't vote for people who have grouped themselves and have demonstrated time and again that they don't love you, but you're still forcing yourself in them when they told you they don't love you. What are you doing there? You know what? I mean, angazi. Wait, but. You must look at the silliness of ETA. Look at how they negotiated things with the ANC. They still come up with this thing that says there is this thing called white supremacy, where everything you do, it's bad until we do it. We can do the same thing, but because it's a white person, it is good. Okay, it's not bad. You know what I'm saying? That is the attitude we are getting from ETA. Somebody said something the other time. Spoke about black people who built things that are excellent even today. These people are dethroning those people's intelligence and saying that these ones, they can't do anything good. But there are people like let's take for instance, there's this guy, a black guy. I think I want to meet that guy one day, man. I lost the contact. That guy is called. He owns a company called Glad Africa. I did not meet the father. I met the son to the father. Right. Those are black companies. That guy even sponsored PSL, but the second division. Those are black companies built by black people, right? There was once, during Jacob Zuma's tenure, he once appointed a financial firm, Transnet. It became big in South Africa, and they were doing well. Like, guys, come on, go to ESCOM. Like, I'm just showing you how they belittle people, but people don't take it serious. At ESCOM, you got Mlife, right? Brian Mlife, Machela Koko, and others. Black people, I'm talking about black people here. They went to ESCOM. They only took 5 months to end load shedding. And then you hired who? White person called Andre the Right. It says is the worst person ever. After him, they replaced him with, they were talking about Ramaphosa, who believes in white supremacy, by the way. Hey, they said that he pulled, because he believes in white supremacy, he brings a white person to come and run the company. He failed dismally. And they said the moment he introduced black people to come and run the company, ESCOM performed better than before. So the issue of black failure, because it's no longer about failure, it's just black, it now sees colors. The issue here is a matter of perception. Why I'm saying that? There's enough evidence of black people who have succeeded, but they are using this corrupt capital monopolist of look, this black corrupt capital, what. They are using them to make black people look bad. Let's go, for instance, move from ESCOM. During Zuma's time, we had a man called Claude Mutsoening. He was in charge of SAPC. SAPC never lived with bailout. SAPC, in fact, that man still holds this record. Hey, uneducated, according to the standard of this world, uneducated. Mind you, is black, uneducated. But that guy, he balanced SAPC to an extent that SAPC did not need bailouts, but SAPC ended up making money, right? He even bragged with that record today and say, I ran that institution to an extent that I helped the SAPC to make money instead of getting bailout. So in other words, he's saying SAPC was more stable under my leadership. And from there, I decided that let's just add money. So we don't need government's bailout. Those are black excellence. You can go on and on and on and on and name black companies and black individuals that have done well in this country. But when these white people want to dethrone black intelligence, you know what they do? They look at Abu Saudi and say, look at Abu Saudi, how corrupt they are. They're making money off tenders. They're making money with tenders. Yes, we know. It's because of this grouping where people group themselves and then they give tenders to themselves. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a reflection of black people. No, there are people in this country that does things and they are excellent, right? You will find people who are running this newsroom, this news media house, right? You find black people who have been doing well. You understand? If I'm not mistaken, the person who's running Daily Sun is a black person there. There's a black person behind that. Look at how Daily Sun has been doing, right? Like I'm saying, guys, there is enough evidence to prove that what these white people are saying, that black people are failing, it's not a failure of black people. It is a sabotage sometimes of the very same white people. And if we want me to prove that it is a sabotage sometimes of these white people, let me show you this. Have you followed the story of Maponya? How he was building that mall? Do you know what these people did? These people grouped themselves together. These white people and white African, if I'm to be specific. He wants to build he got the land. He wanted to build the mall. I'm just summarizing the story based on how I know it. So these people, look, Maponya did not want to give them the shares that they wanted. They want shares. They wanted shares without working for them. So because Maponya did not want to work for them, he signed a contract with these shops, and they realized that this black guy, he's gonna build a mall working with these brands. They were like, oh, okay, some tall. Now listen to what they do. Because they own these companies, like these companies where you're supposed to buy material, your cash build, your what. He goes into these companies. He has an agreement with them. But suddenly people are. I need to remember when you build a mall, you give time frame that by this time I will be done, and then so there are penalties or there are things that will happen if you don't finish on time. Maponya wants to finish things on time. Maponya wants to complete things on time. These people knew that if we can sabotage him here, he was not going to finish on time. Therefore, we will collapse this contract. So what they did, when he was going to the companies that are supposed to supply cement, sand, what as he was building there, those white companies, all of them pulled out. Spontaneously, all of them pulled out. He was then informed that no, the problem is these white people. They don't want you here. You are taking business. You can't have this thing. You can't own this thing alone. He made some phone calls. That's another story to read, right, Maponya? He made some phone calls. He needed to ship material, I think, from Dubai. Mind you, you are shipping cements, things that you can buy, but you're now shipping them overseas. It needed to be transported. In other words, there were cost added. Why? Because these white companies sabotaged him intentionally. And then I told you about the story of Commission of Competition or Competition of Commission. I still have the article where these guys, you know what they do? We are competing with them in a farm. You have your own farm, you've got your own things, you are producing it for whatever supermarkets. Because you are competing with them, you know what they did? I'm talking about something that was investigated here not long ago. You know what they did? They collaborated and they lowered the price. Is all of them. That's how they were found. That's why the Competition of Commission found that. Oh, okay, we see they investigated that. They collided or they collaborated and lowered the price. Obviously, when you don't have sponsors, you can't lower the price. And then the supermarket obviously will buy less from you and more from them and more money from them. They're okay. That's how they kill the competition. We are talking about financial segregation in this country. There are more things we can talk about. I always hear people say the GDP wasn't doing well under Jacob Zuma. And I always say, in you saying the GDP wasn't doing well under Jacob Zuma, please include this, that there was this bank collaborated against Jacob Zuma and came up with what we now know it as the manipulation of the rand. So when you say things were not going well, you must remember, you must add that into the equation and know that there was a deliberate sabotage. So, but the DA will never speak about that there were white people who sabotaged him. They will just say, 9 wasted years. Now they have their man, the man that they can trust, who has produced nothing. In fact, Ramaphosa's time, it says it is worse than Zuma. Mind you, he had only governed as of this time. His next term hasn't started, but he has only been a president for a period of 6 years. Zuma has been a president over a period of 9 years. Mind you, 6 years is worse than Zuma. Now you are re-electing him, and DA is okay with him. He's not corrupt. Do you see that they have selective attitude? Do you see that they've got selective? And you must ask yourself, why are you selective when it comes to Ramaphosa? These are the things that when we grow and when we start speaking good English, we should never forget that these people don't like you. So, but okay, let me qualify this by saying some of these people do not like you because it's not all white people who are racist. Let's just put that. It's not all white people who are racist, but some of these people, they don't like you. And there's a story that I constantly tell you. The company that still exists even today here in Wadeville, we were working there, making sweets. A white guy who has never been to school, nothing, comes into this company. They ask us to teach this white guy. We taught him everything, like literally everything. Once we were done teaching him everything, guess what? Now he knows the job. We were earning around 4,000 something rand a month. his starting salary was 18,000. We asked, we began doing a lot of digging there. And one day, the very same guy told us the skin matters, right? I keep telling you such stories. So when Zuma said, be careful of this political party, it's a political party that protects such people, that perpetuates such behavior. And I'm not sure if you would like to be associated with people who oppresses other people and then blame them for lack of intellectual